My name is Emily, and I am the wife of Daniel. I had been married to Daniel for 5 years. My life was going very well and peacefully. I loved Daniel a lot. My husband also loved me a lot. My mother-in-law also loved me a lot. I did not face any problems in my married life. I am very lucky that I got Daniel as my husband. I have never complained about anything to Daniel. My husband also never refused me anything. Daniel loves me more than himself. My husband also never looked at any other girl except me. My husband always appreciated my beauty. My husband always took care of me. One day I went to the parlor with my mother-in-law. There I saw a beautiful girl. She was doing makeup. Her makeup was being done by a very famous makeup artist. Saw that girl? Carefully, that girl was looking very beautiful. That girl had gotten very good makeup done. I was very surprised to see that girl. I had never seen such a beautiful girl before. That girl had very fair skin. Her lips were very pink. Her eyes were very big. That girl was very slim. Her nose was also very sharp. I was constantly looking at her. When that girl's makeup was completed, she stood up. That girl was looking more beautiful standing up. I kept looking at her without blinking. That girl then left from there. After that, I also got my makeup done. After getting the makeup done, I came home. I did not tell anything about that girl to my husband, Daniel. After some days, my husband's behavior started changing. My husband used to come home late at night. My husband started ignoring me. My husband stopped appreciating my beauty. My husband started fighting with me. I was very worried about Daniel's behavior. My husband also stopped eating food from my hands. My husband used to go somewhere secretly. I was very surprised to see my husband's change. One day, I secretly followed my husband. I saw my husband sitting with a girl in a restaurant. That girl was the same girl I saw in the parlor. My husband was talking very lovingly to that girl. I could not believe my eyes. My husband was smiling at her. That girl was also smiling at my husband. They were holding each other's hands. I was watching all this hiding behind. My heart broke into pieces. I came home crying. I did not tell anyone. About this, I could not even cry in front of my mother-in-law. My husband came home at night. I asked him where he had gone. My husband shouted at me. He said, "Don't ask me such stupid questions." Got very scared after hearing my husband's voice. My husband had never spoken to me like that before. I became silent. My husband went to sleep. I kept crying silently the whole night. I remembered the old days. I was crying while remembering the love of my husband. I was crying thinking about the betrayal of my husband. After some days, my husband started coming home even later. My husband used to stay out the whole night. My mother also noticed this change. My mother-in-law asked me what was going on. Said, "Nothing, Mom. Maybe there is some tension in Daniel's office." My mother-in-law believed me, but I was getting very worried day by day. My heart was breaking every moment. One day, I gathered courage. I asked my husband about that girl. My husband became very angry. My husband slapped me. My husband pushed me. My husband abused me. I was very hurt. I never thought my husband could do this to me. I was crying a lot. My mother-in-law also came hearing my cries. My mother-in-law asked my husband why. "Did you raise your hand on Emily?" My husband said, "Don't interfere in my matters, Mom." My mother-in-law was shocked. My husband went out of the house. My mother-in-law asked me what happened. I told everything to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law started crying. My mother-in-law held my hand and said, "I will talk to Daniel." The next day, my mother-in-law talked to Daniel. My husband clearly said that he does not want to live with me. My husband said he wants to marry that girl. I was shocked. My mother-in-law cried a lot. But Daniel did not listen to anyone. After some days, my husband divorced me. My world was shattered. I came back to my parents' home. My life was ruined. The girl I praised so much had ruined my home. That girl had snatched my husband from me. My husband married that girl. But today, I am happy. Because now I know that Daniel was never mine. After Daniel divorced me and married that girl, I was completely shattered. I had lost everything. My dreams were broken. My heart was broken. I used to cry all night. I could not forget Daniel's betrayal. I could not forget how easily he left me. My parents were trying to make me strong, but my soul was still in pain. I had given 5 years of my life to Daniel. I had loved him more than myself. I had trusted him blindly. And he broke that trust in such a cruel way. One day, I got a call from my old friend Sarah. She said she was visiting our city for a few days. She invited me to meet her. I went to meet Sarah. When she saw me, she hugged me tightly. I couldn't hold back my tears. I cried on her shoulder. Sarah asked me everything. I told her the whole story. Sarah got very angry. She said, "You don't deserve this pain, Emily. You deserve someone who values you." Her words gave me some courage. For the first time in weeks, I felt a little relief. Sarah stayed with me for a week. She took me out. We went to cafes, parks, shopping. I started feeling alive again. She told me to find a job and start a new life. I decided to take her advice seriously. I applied for a job in a company. A few days later, I got a call from that company. I was selected for the position of assistant manager. I was very happy. I shared the news with my parents. They were proud of me. It felt like I was slowly rebuilding my life. I started working in the office. My boss's name was Mr. Ethan Williams. He was a gentleman, very kind and respectful. He never treated me like an ordinary employee. He used to appreciate my hard work. He gave me confidence every day. One day, after a staff meeting, Mr. Ethan called me to his office. He said, "Emily, I want to say something personal. I know what you've been through, and I want you to know that you are doing amazing." His words touched my heart. I thanked him. Days passed. He started getting closer. He would wait for me in the morning. He would ask me to have lunch with him. Slowly, I started feeling something in my heart. I tried to stop myself. I had already suffered once in love, but Mr. Ethan was different. He never forced me. He respected my silence. He waited for me patiently. One evening, he dropped me home. As I was about to step out of the car, he held my hand and said, "Emily, can I take you out on a real date?" I looked into his eyes. There was no lust, only care. I nodded with a shy smile. That night, I looked at myself in the mirror and smiled for the first time in months. I wore a simple blue dress. He picked me up. We went to a quiet rooftop restaurant. He talked very less, but his eyes said a lot. He didn't ask about my past. He only spoke about my future, about happiness, about second chances, about healing. That night I realized something. Love doesn't hurt. Betrayal does. After many months of pain, I was finally at peace. Ethan didn't just become my love. He became my strength, my comfort. It's my new beginning. Months later, Ethan proposed to me in the office conference room in front of everyone. I said yes. My colleagues clapped. I cried. Happy tears. My parents were happy. My life had given me another chance, and I was ready to live it fully. As for Daniel, 1 year later, I heard he had divorced that girl. It's the same girl he had left me for. She had cheated on him. Karma had done its work, but I didn't feel happy. I felt nothing because I had moved on and I was loved. Truly loved. My wedding day arrived. I stood in front of the mirror wearing a white gown, the kind I had once only dreamed of. The room was filled with fresh white roses, the scent wrapping around me like peace. My mother stood beside me with tears in her eyes, whispering, "You deserve all this, Emily. You deserve this happiness." As I walked down the aisle, I saw Ethan standing there in his black tuxedo, his eyes never leaving mine. He looked at me like I was the only woman in the world. The guests stood and smiled, but for me, it was just me and him, the man who healed my broken soul. He took my hand as I reached him and said softly, "You look like a queen." Tears welled in my eyes. 'cause for the first time, I believed it. I was no longer the woman who was left. I was the woman chosen. We exchanged vows. Simple, honest, and full of love. He promised to protect my heart. I promised to stand beside him in every storm. And when we were announced husband and wife, he kissed me gently like I was made of stars. After the ceremony, he surprised me with something more. He had bought a beautiful mansion on the coast, not just for us, but for my parents too. He said they gave birth to a diamond. I just polished her. Now she shines. I moved into a life I had never imagined. Luxury, yes. But more than that respect, he made me feel special every day. He took me on candlelight dinners. He left love notes on my pillow. He called me his queen in front of the world. At business events, I stood beside him. No longer just an assistant, but his partner, his wife, the woman who owned his heart. One evening, as we sat watching the sunset from our private balcony, he held my hand and said, "You know, Emily, the world sees me as a billionaire. But I feel like the richest man only because I have you." I smiled and rested my head on his shoulder piece after so much pain. I had finally found peace. And when I look back at the journey, how Daniel broke me, how I cried, alone, I didn't feel bitterness. Because without that pain, I would have never met Ethan. I would have never discovered my own strength. I would have never become the queen I was always meant to be. Today, I live with love, with purpose, with respect, and with a man who sees my soul. I am no longer just Emily. I am Mrs. Emily Williams, wife of the billionaire who saved me, loved me, and made me his queen.